All right, so welcome to Take a Thought Thursdays. Here at Valley Cat, I want to try to create a video series where every Thursday we just hop on, we do a short video of things just to take for thought while working in SOLIDWORKS or other drafting software, and hopefully can help you out to say, oh, I didn't think of that idea for utilizing SOLIDWORKS. And for today's Take a Thought Thursdays, we are going to be looking at some custom key bindings, actually. And you'll see in some of my other videos that I do where I can quickly switch views from front view, top view, right side view, top view, and so forth. And so I wanted to show what I'm doing exactly so that way I can switch between those views so quickly instead of having to click on the 3D icon in the bottom left corner to switch views or push spacebar and specify my views. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Once again, this is Peter Estes here. I'm the owner of Valley CAD. We are a mechanical engineering and product design firm. I am a certified SOLIDWORKS expert and have had the privilege of teaching SOLIDWORKS at Fresno City College, local community college here, and also doing professional training for companies as well as engineering teams doing specialized trainings. And so these are, I absolutely love being able to do that and seeing that light bulb just turn on. And so that's why I love doing these sort of video broadcastings for you guys. And so this will be up on YouTube, but also I am doing a live Twitch series on here. So be sure to go on to Twitch and look up Valley CAD. From there, you'll see our live recordings that we do as well. So let's go ahead and dive into SOLIDWORKS and see what we're working with. So as we can see here, you've got my SOLIDWORKS here on the main screen, and then you see a little picture of actually my number pad that is on my keyboard. And so as I was stating earlier, I'm able to look at my view here and say, all right, I'm looking at my front view. I'd rather look at my top view. I want to look at my right side view. Or maybe I want to look at the back view, or trimetric, or dimetric, or trimetric, or isometric. I'm doing this quickly by using key bindings on my keyboard. And I'm actually using the number pad that's on my computer now. And so as you look at your number pad, you got your 9 numbers here, and they're just looking at how they're spaced and positioned on your number pad kind of helps me out to say, you know what, I want to set up certain numbers that will look certain ways for me. And what I actually have done is I've come in and I created such as like number 5, which is in the dead center of my number pad. I created that one to be my front view. And then if you look at number 8 there, number 8 is above number 5, so I'm going to create number 8 to be my top view. So whenever I click on number 8 in my number pad, it will switch to the top view. If I look at number 6 there, which is to the right of number 5, that's going to become my right side view. And as we look at number 9, if you look at orthographic drawings and so forth, you will see that, oh, number 9 kind of comes off at this diagonal angle from number 5. You know what? Whenever I do a drawing, my pictorial view that I have is going to be an isometric view, and that's typically in the top right corner. So if I push number 9 on my number pad, that'll go into isometric view. And looking at the other numbers here, such as like number 2, that's going to be my bottom view. If I push number 4, that's going to be my left side view because it's to the left of number 5. And then number 3, it's kind of an odd one. I created that one to be my back view. And then number 1 there is going to be my dimetric. And number 7 is going to be my trimetric. Now, looking at these, you might be going, all right, how did you go in and customize SOLIDWORKS to be able to look at the key bindings on your keyboard? Not many people know about this yet, and so that's a lot of reason why I wanted to show this video. I just showed the number pad system as an example. If you're just going, you know what, I'd rather create my number pads to do different commands for me, highly recommend that you do that. These are just examples for you guys to be looking at. And so to go in and customize your SOLIDWORKS interface is fairly simple to do. What I like to do is actually coming up to my command ribbon here and just anywhere in the gray, just right click. So I'm just right clicking anywhere. You could be under any of these command tabs. You just right click. And when SOLIDWORKS 2016 came out, They did something that really just made me happy. Prior to 2016, whenever you right-clicked here, you'll see that you see the word customize. This is where we want to go. Prior to 2016, they actually put customize at the very bottom over here, and this actually used to not be split in two pieces. This it used to actually be underneath here, and this used to be just a long list of action items to click on. So SOLIDWORKS did a great job in 2016 to say, you know what, whenever people right click up here, yeah, they want to activate certain command or toolbars, but a lot of times they come up here to customize SOLIDWORKS. That's the whole purpose of this right click in this area. So from there, I'll just simply click on customize. And on customize here, you'll see that this is where you can come in and customize your user interface of SOLIDWORKS. And so you can work on your toolbars if you want toolbars to be on or off. So I use toolbars. That's what this little item here is on the left. That's also what you see on the bottom here of my screen. So I do use toolbars. I do a mixture of toolbars and using the command manager across the top. So if I turn off my command manager, that's how my user interface will look. Now, this is how SOLIDWORKS used to look. I believe back in 2000 version, I think it was 2008 is when they switched and enabled a command manager across the top. So if you ever do work with a designer, an engineer, or draftsman that's been using SOLIDWORKS for since 97, let's say, they might still keep SOLIDWORKS looking something like this. And all you see are toolbars all across their screen. Nothing wrong with that. A lot of veteran SOLIDWORKS users, they also will actually just turn off the use large buttons with text, and all that you see are the buttons for their commands. And a lot of people say, you know what, I like it this way because I know what this is. That is a base flange tab. Or if they switch to their features tab, that's boss base extrude, that's revolve, that's sweep, that's loft, that's boundary, that's cut, that's hole wizard, that's revolve cut, that's swept cut, that's lofted cut, that's boundary cut, that's fillet. You know, someone like me who's been using SOLIDWORKS since version 2003, but I've been using it since 08, and being an application engineer for a local VAR as a SOLIDWORKS technician, basically, I know SOLIDWORKS in and out. And so I'm still one of those guys though that actually enjoys having use large buttons with text. A lot of times it's because I teach SOLIDWORKS, so I'm always teaching it, and so this is how I like to make my SOLIDWORKS look. So that way, when I'm teaching it to companies or individuals that just purchase the software and not fully aware of which each command is, it's nice having that text there. But you can definitely turn that on and off if you'd like. So if you want to customize SOLIDWORKS in other ways, you can look at your shortcut bars. If you're not sure what shortcut bars are, what that is whenever you are in a part file and you push the letter S on your keyboard, this is called your shortcut bar. This is fully customizable, and how you can customize it is through right click and you select customize. Okay, and that's where shortcut bars come in. You'll notice here that you can have a different shortcut bar for each type of file you are in or sequence that you're in. So if I was in a sketch mode on this part and I push the letter S or shortcut button, that'll bring up, that's what my shortcut bar will look like when I push it. And you could come in here and you could customize however you want this to look. Okay, so I like to, in this video, I want to show you guys keyboard commands. And so when you click on this tab and towards the center it says keyboard on it, that's where you can come in to customize it. And so if you are an AutoCAD or a draft site person where you're just like, man, I love just using the keyboard and never touching the mouse, this is where you're going to really enjoy SOLIDWORKS actually. So for me to customize SOLIDWORKS, and you'll see here that SOLIDWORKS has predefined custom keyboard sequences. And for me, I wanted to make it to where my number pad would control the views, how I'm looking at my part assembly files. And so to customize your viewports, you want to come in and do a search for and just type in the word other. So under the other category, this is where you will see, right off the top, you will see the different view types that you can see on your part file. So as you see here on my front, you'll see that it says Control +1 or num5. So I went in and I customized that. So if you're like, all right, so when you first install SOLIDWORKS, this is probably how it looks. It just says Control +1. But I want to add in the num5 to it. So when I click on this cell and I just push num5, which I just did, that's number 5 on your number pad there. That's why it's called num5. It will automatically place that in there. Now you can come in and you can put any other button on there. As you can see, I have 2 different ways of going to my front view on my files, and so you can easily customize that however you like. One other aspect that I did not touch on when I first was showing you how switching between views was this one here called Normal To. I created Normal To be Control 8 is the default, but I created num0, which is the 0 on your number pad, to be my Normal To. Now, what is Normal To? Well, when I get out of this, and let's say I want to look normal to this face. So if I click on that and then push the 0 on my number pad, it's going to rotate the SOLIDWORKS part file so that way I'm looking normal to this face. It's looking perfectly to me. It's almost like an auxiliary view to this. You can't get that view by going to your front or right side view, because if I look at it from my right side view, this is shortened a little bit. And if I look at it from my top side view, it's shortened this way. Okay, so that's why having that normal to function is really nice. Also, that's really helpful for when you create a new sketch. So if I came in and let's say that I want to create a new sketch on this face, but I need to look normal to it, because I always recommend when you are sketching, be normal to your sketch plane. So clicking on his face and clicking on sketch, create a new sketch. I have SOLIDWORKS pre-made up to where it will rotate to the view so it's normal to it. But sometimes SOLIDWORKS, if you don't like having that function, you might click on here and you say create a new sketch. But by doing that, it's still at an awkward angle. When I say awkward angle, I mean that it's not a true 90 degree, 45 degree, 30 degree, not a standard angle for you to be looking at something. So that's whenever I use the term awkward angle. So when I click on this face and I say, wait, I want to look normal to this, I push the 0. Now I am sketching directly onto this face. And I'm looking perfectly to that. Because as I rotate this, the circle is actually going to look more and more like an ellipse. So that's why looking normal to it is a really good function. Okay, so simply come in here and fill in my dimensions, because you always need to fully define your sketches, no matter what. Okay, so I'll just simply come in here, say that I want this line to come down, and I want this line and this edge to be parallel. Because it can't be vertical or horizontal, because this face is coming off at an awkward angle. So that's why I'm using the parallel function. And so we'll give it a dimension of saying that this is going to be at ½ an inch in. And then we say OK to this. And now I'm done with that sketch, and it's fully defined. So I hope that this Take a Thought Thursdays little video here for you guys. It's a quick 15-minute setup for you. Hopefully that can answer some questions for you on customizing SOLIDWORKS. So once again, how you go about that is you come up here and you right-click up in your command manager, and you select Customize, and you come over to Keyboards, or the keyboard function. Now, some other aspects that I do that are these are buttons that I always use because it's something that I always pull up. So one of them is actually the properties. So under File Properties, this is your custom properties for your part files. I use custom properties all the time for my parts and assemblies. It just creates really nice metadata, so that way when I import this part into a drawing, all the information is going to will get populated in that drawing for me. And so I always use this. So by doing that, since I always use it, instead of coming up and clicking up here on my File Properties button, I push the letter P. Now you'll see here under my tooltip that comes flying out on SOLIDWORKS, says File Properties, and it shows in parentheses P. That is saying that This is a shortcut command or a keyboard binding to activate file properties. And so instead of, developing carpal tunnel, moving my mouse around everywhere, I just simply push the letter P, and there we go. There's all my file properties. These are ones that I custom made for each of my part files. It's in my part template. And now when I import this part into a drawing, all this information will show up in my drawing for me. That way I don't have to try to fill it in after the fact. So using the letter P for my file properties has saved me a exponential amount of time because that way I'm not moving my mouse around. Okay, so also the other one that I like to use is the letter M for measure. Okay, so when you are modeling in SOLIDWORKS and you're just going, all right, what is the length of this line? Well, utilizing the measure command will tell you that. And so if you're not familiar with measure, that's actually under your evaluate tab. And it's this one right here. It's called measure. Okay, so if I click on that, if I click on any line, SOLIDWORKS will spit out the information on that line saying that this line is 1.9435 inches long. But maybe I want to see what's the distance from this point to, let's say, this point here. SOLIDWORKS will come in and say, hey, your Y distance is going to be a little over 1.5 inches, and your X distance is going to be just under 1 1/8 inches. But as a crow flies, it's at about 2 5/8, basically, just under 2 5/8. And so it can easily tell you that. Also, if I click on this face, just a face by itself, SOLIDWORKS will actually spit out the area and the perimeter of just that face for me. So the measure command, I use that all the time, actually, just to verify how my parts look. And so once again, because I use it all the time and I don't want to switch between features or surfaces, these different commands, and then switch to the evaluate tab, I just found myself pushing the letter M. I don't have to take my hand off the mouse at all. All I have to do is just use my left hand, push the letter M or whatever key binding I choose for this, and it speeds up my process. Creating shortcut commands for on your keyboard is here to speed you up. Okay, so hopefully you guys get a little input on here. Feel free to shoot us messages. Once again, email us. You can email me directly. It's peter.estes@valleycad.com. Be sure to follow us on Twitch. We are at ValleyCAD, all one word. Also follow us here on YouTube. Like us on Facebook. Shoot us emails. Give us a call as well. We're always happy to help out with SOLIDWORKS applications, or if you got some products that you're just going, man, I got a great idea. I don't know how to get it designed or get 3D models so I could show to investors. That's what we're here for. We are here for when the designing gets tough. Okay? So guys, have a great rest of the day and make sure you learn something new.